Next on Worcester News Tonight, city officials take steps in the shoes of the blind. And a vigil in Central Mass for victims of domestic violence. Good evening, thanks for joining us. I'm Tim McCone. We begin tonight with a vigil in the town of Shrewsbury to honor the victims of domestic violence. It was held tonight on the town common by a group called Against Domestic Violence in Shrewsbury Education Project. The group advocates for victims of domestic violence. More than 25 people, including community members, government officials, clergy, and the district attorney, came out and spoke out against domestic violence. Organizers say it's an issue that can affect all communities.
And the sad thing is with domestic violence, it cuts across all sectors of a community, all ages, races, and so domestic violence is a part of the Shrewsbury community as well. In fact, the vigil was started in 2010 after the death of Maureen Rossiello, who was beaten to death in her home in the presence of her children.
The town of Shrewsbury now has an officer specifically trained to deal with domestic violence situations, thanks in part to the advocacy of the group. A Worcester mother is under arrest after police say her 5-year-old son showed up to school so badly bruised he couldn't even walk. Catherine Underwood has the details.
Not how you expect to see a 5-year-old show up for kindergarten. Court documents say the little boy had bruises all over his body, including his head and his face, and was so badly hurt he couldn't even walk.
That's hard to believe.
Neighbors were shocked when they heard the child's mother, 22-year-old Chantel Wynn, was arrested and charged with permitting injury and child endangerment.
The parents are great. I have nothing bad to say about any of them.
Have you ever seen any physical signs of abuse?
Never.
The little boy was always with his mom that I've seen, and you could tell he adored his mom.
Wynn's next door neighbor on Duxbury Street didn't want to go on camera and wouldn't tell us her last name, but describes this scary scene at her children's school on Tuesday morning.
My kid said the school was on lockdown, and they took the little boy out on ambulance.
Wynn admitted to police that she had noticed suspicious bruises on her son's body before, but never reported it. According to the police report, Wynn is blaming the man who lives with her for abusing her son.
If something bad is going on in the house, you got to draw the line somewhere, you know. It's just the kids that matter. That's the bottom line.
In the meantime, DCF has named a pediatrician at UMass Medical School as the department's first ever full-time medical director. Dr. Linda Sager founded a clinic at the school that evaluates foster children. A Southbridge teacher at the center of some disturbing allegations involving a student. Investigators say that teacher allegedly sent obscene photos of himself to a student. Catherine Sotnick has more.
21-year-old Joseph Zuniga of Webster, a teacher at Southbridge High School, walks out of the police station shielded by his mom after paying $540 cash bail.
Could you tell us why you sent allegedly naked pictures to one of your students?
He's accused of sending a male student about 10 nude photos of himself.
From the waist down and full body, including the face.
Police say Zuniga used his Facebook account to send the photos not once but twice. Back in 2014 when the boy was just 16, and then again this past August. The boy is now 17.
Some of them we could clearly see his face attached to the image, so we knew it was the teacher.
Both times police say the boy did not respond.
All things considered, he's doing well. You know, he's 17-year-old, young kid, good kid.
Police say they've also spoken to the victim's parents.
They're as shocked as we are.
School officials say Zuniga, who's an English language learner teacher, has now been fired. The school has notified parents. Police say the victim never told an adult, but that a school resource officer learned of the naked photos through rumors. They say Zuniga agreed to come to the Southbridge police station for questioning Wednesday. A short time later, he was charged with 1 count of dissemination of obscene material to a minor. The chief also says Zuniga and the victims' families knew each other through church.
He didn't think there was anything wrong with it because he was friendly with the student, and the student was 17.
As we inch our way closer to winter, leaves are beginning to fall across the city, and the Worcester Tree Initiative is trying to make sure that there are even more of those leaves in the future. The Initiative holding a fall tree fest at Green Hill Park tonight. The event was open to the public and hoped to raise awareness and encourage donations to help with the replanting of another 4,000 trees. You may remember 4,000 trees were removed from Green Hill Park, Shrewsbury, and Boylston.
Park, they had a lot of trees cut down last winter due to another infestation from the Asian longhorn beetle. So roughly 4,000 trees we feel need to be replaced in the city.
The Tree Initiative has set a fundraising goal of $250,000 this year. A delicious new addition to downtown Worcester is set to officially open in November. We first introduced you to Figs and Pigs Kitchen and Pantry last night, and tonight we hear from the chef. The American-style restaurant will feature seasonal dishes and more.
It's going to be a quick service restaurant. We're kitchen and pantry because kitchen is dining in, pantry is taking out. So we have seating for about 22 to 24 people. We have some expanded seating for when the season is nice. We're going to have chairs out, tables outside. We'll also have the ability to open up. There's going to be a barn door open into the concourse and maybe do some expansion into the event space itself when there's nothing going on at the DCU Center.
Figs and Pigs is 1,200 square feet and located on the corner of Foster and Commercial Street. Well, the long-awaited incident report on winery fire in Charlton has been released. The family and the winery have been critical of the fire department's response time and performance from the start to finish. The reports say the fire personnel acted appropriately with the fire engine on scene within 8 minutes of the second alarm being struck. The fire has been ruled arson. And vision loss impacts millions of Americans every year, and Worcester is taking a look at how to improve city resources for the blind. Our Andy Madison has more.
Tony Economou took a walk around downtown Worcester, but had no idea where he was going.
I'd prefer it that way. I think it'll be better. I'd rather not know, so I can get a more truer experience.
The experience was using a cane.
This is the button.
That's the button. Because he was walking blindfolded.
I'm just hoping to get a better understanding on what people deal with on a daily basis who do have disabilities navigating our sidewalks.
One of 5 in the group that walked on the sidewalks and crosswalks to get a feel for the experience. They couldn't see for less than an hour.
Each group will have a...
Elizabeth Miska goes through it every day. She's lost her vision, but not her spirit.
It's been a wonderful, and again, I underscore the word wonderful, learning experience, befriending people who are visually impaired and blind who have been dealing with these issues in many cases for their lives.
Lives she is trying to improve as a member of the Commission on Disabilities.
So that it's not just things being imposed upon us, but us having input and therefore impact.
I've been a cane user for 15 years and just thought it would be a good opportunity for me to be out and about.
By using a cane, the hope is the experience will lead to a safer sidewalk.
To see it from the other side for those who can't see it but use them and have a tough time navigating them, I think it'll bring it home.
Andy Madison, Worcester News Tonight.
In the last couple of weeks, city councilors in Worcester have brought up the possibility of bringing the Pawsox to the city. Today, we found out Worcester isn't the only place with a potential interest in the team. In Springfield, the mayor says initial talks have been held with the owners of the Pawtucket Red Sox about possibly moving their team to Springfield. The mayor told the Republican he could envision a stadium for the AAA ball club in the city's north end. The team recently ended its pursuit of waterfront land in downtown Providence for a new stadium. Springfield has not hosted professional baseball in 50 years. U.S. Senator Ed Markey paid a visit to Worcester today. Among his stops was UMass Memorial, and our Olivia Lemon spoke to him there.
There's no question that no one wants to retreat from the goal which we have: universal access to health care and making it affordable.
U.S. Senator Ed Markey visits UMass Memorial Healthcare Wednesday to talk about managing the overall cost of healthcare for patients. Markey says the Affordable Care Act has had huge success in providing healthcare services to those who need it.
We had first to meet the goal of making sure everyone had health insurance, everyone had access to care, and now we have to continue to focus on how we can lower the cost of insurance so that people have an ability to afford that care.
Accountable care organizations take large healthcare systems like ourselves and really encourage us to try to connect all of that care for the patient, coordinate the care so that the patient ends up with better health, and we see improved quality of care and a reduction in total medical expenditures.
UMass Memorial CEO Dr. Eric Dixon says the cost of healthcare in the United States is rising quickly. He says it's almost 20% of the gross national product.
That's an important driver of the economy in our region, is to be able to offer healthcare at a lower cost than other regions, and that's what's going to make us more competitive in the marketplace. For the businesses that are trying to make their product or sell their service from the region.
Dixon says UMass serves about 130,000 patients through their hospitals and primary care facilities.
Those would include both Medicare beneficiaries, Medicaid beneficiaries, and those that are commercially insured, for, typically the working population and their families.
Dixon says research at UMass Medical School could help. He says it focuses on better and more cost-effective ways to care for patients.
This is an engine of economic growth, providing high-quality healthcare services to this entire region.
Olivia Lemon, Worcester News Tonight.
Veterans and their families showed off their artistic side tonight at the Goddard House in Worcester. Project New Hope holding the Veterans Peace Art Show. The exhibit featured art created by veterans as well as their spouses. Tonight was the culmination of weeks of hard work creating the paintings you see here. The goal of the classes leading up to tonight was to give veterans and their spouses a fun, unique night out.
It was kind of funny when it first started. A lot of the male veterans didn't want to come. And of course their spouses says, no, I want to do this, I want you to come. And by the 6th week, they were all looking forward to coming. And you can tell by some of the paintings, none of them have ever painted. And some of these paintings here are pretty remarkable.
Project New Hope plans on holding more art shows in